All right, guys, today's assignment, you're going to be using shapes in Photopea to make a robot. I would suggest go to Google first, and at Google, you can just search for robot from shapes. And then I would click on images across the top. And now we can see all these different robots from shapes, just to give you some ideas, right? Interesting things to look at are hands, how they go about making hands. Sometimes they just use a star, right? A triangle. Any number of ideas is good. All right. Here's a quick one I started, and I'll show you how I went about doing this. All right. Remember, we're going to go File, New. I'm going to call it Robot 1. Good idea to start calling your projects something so you know what they are, easier to find. I'm going to come down to Print, choose Letter. I want the width to be larger because I want it to be wide. I like landscape. Hit that, and now Create. All right. We don't want to draw on the background, so I'm going to add a new layer. Okay, to draw shapes, remember shape, the shortcut is letter U. If you don't have a keyboard, look here on the left-hand side. Right now I'm on the ellipse tool, but every time I hit U, it changes. Now it's a line tool, now it's a polygon, the star tool, that gives you some different options there, as well as back to our rectangle. So I'm going to start with a rectangle. I've got the rectangle selected. Up here is the color of that. Well, I'm going to make the box red. This body's going to be red. I choose red, come over, and I make my first square. All right. Now, here's where it can be a little confusing because I want to change colors because I'm going to make his arm next. So if I come up here and change the color to this blue, it changed the color of that box because that is selected. Look at my layer. That layer is what's active right now. So if I change colors, it's going to change the color of that item. I'm going to go back to red. This time, I'm going to add a new layer. That's probably the easiest way to avoid that. By adding a new layer, now I can change the color to blue. And you can see it didn't change because I'm on a different layer. Now I'm going to draw one for the arm. There we go. All right, here's where things can get interesting. So I already drew one for the arm. Now I need to draw another arm. Now the odds of me just clicking and dragging and make it the perfect size, not going to happen. So if I take my move tool, that's the arrow at the top, letter V as in victory, I can move it around. That helps me adjust it a little bit. I can also rotate it. That's a nice trick for you. Control T, and then when I move my cursor to the item, see that? You get those double arrows. You have to kind of play with it because sometimes that'll make it bigger. We don't want that. So you go to the end, there it is. And that'll let you rotate it a little bit. All right. And then of course, when you're done rotating it, you can just hit enter. That'll get rid of the box. Now you can move this around. That's not the cool part. Here's the cool part. If I want to copy this, there's two ways I can do it. The easiest way is hold down Alt, A-L-T on your keyboard. It should be right next to the space bar. If I hold that down, now I click and drag. There we go. Now I made a copy, but look at that weird angle. All right, Control and letter T will bring that box up. Now I can move my cursor till I get that. There we go. And then I can rotate it. All right. Hit enter, the box will go away. Got my move tool here. I can move this down a little. Now we're in business. All right. I'm going to go back to my shape tool. So I can just click directly on it, the rectangle, or I can hit letter U on my keyboard. I like the keyboard shortcuts. I've got blue selected. That's good. I'm going to make like a little neck. There we go. And now I want to make a head. So I'm going to switch back to red color. But before I do that, I'm going to add a new layer. Now I can switch to red, draw a head real quick. There we go. I want to draw some eyes, so I'm going to add a new layer before I change colors. change to white. Now, instead of the rectangle tool, right, you can click and hold on this. That'll bring up all the tools underneath it, or you can just cycle through, close that. You can just cycle through, hit the letter U until you get to the oval. There we go. There's the oval tool. I've got white selected, so if I come in and click and drag, I can make a circle for an eye. I can make an ellipse for the mouth, and we'll make this eye bigger because he's a weird robot. There we go. All right, beautiful. Now, how about some interesting, making funky shapes out of your robot, right? Let's say we want the end here to be more like a hand or something. Well, watch what happens. Since the background is white, and I've currently got a white circle selected, if I start over this and draw to there, look at that. Now, I can do the same thing over here. Okay, I'm going to take my move tool. Again, that's letter V if you're using the keyboard shortcut. Move that in a little bit. Now it looks kind of funny here. See this blue around? Let me zoom in. Control plus is zoom in. And then if you want to move the page, hold the space bar. Look at my cursor. I hold the space bar, it turns into a hand. Now I can move it over. I can adjust this a little bit, get it just where I like it. But it looks kind of odd, doesn't it? With the blue around the edge. That's only because that layer is selected. As soon as I click off of that layer, that goes away. Now I can zoom out, control minus, and you can see the effect. All right? All right, that's it. Make a robot. That will be in the assignment in the module, so get to work. See ya.